Flicker. I'm the treasurer of this organization, and I just want to go over a couple of things with you real quickly. Again, thank you all for buying tickets and coming out to this great event. I just want to take a few moments to recognize a few people in the audience tonight. We actually have some candidates, this afternoon I should say. I actually have some candidates that are here. We have Greg Lopez, who's an announced candidate for governor in 2022, right there. And we also have Laurel Eimer here. She's an announced candidate for U.S. House District 7, which is U.S. House, Congress, Washington, D.C. Again, these folks are still, we're still in the primary season, so we still have a lot of candidates out there, but we're certainly glad that they stopped by to visit with us today. Our guest of honor, Lady Maga, she's been working the crowd. She is actually the president of Lockham Republicans of Utah, and she's come over to help us out with this event. And she's going to be doing a little entertainment and getting a little speech about herself. Actually, I also want to recognize our president, Valdemar. Come over here. Valdemar Archuleta. He's been our president since the beginning of the year. And actually, typically in years past, our barbecue picnic that we do every year is usually just a little bit more of a low-key affair. It's usually something we do at somebody's home or in a park, and we kind of keep it that way. But this guy is responsible for taking this to the next level and getting us to a place like this where it's actually a big deal. So it's this guy's fault right here, okay? All right? Also in attendance tonight is our vice president. All right, he's kind of like Kamala Harris. He just, he's always, we don't know where he is half the time, and he doesn't do a whole lot. This is Garrett Flicker. He's our vice president. Now, Garrett also plays a dual role. He's actually chairman of the Denver County GOP, and I think he's one of the youngest Denver County GOP's chairpersons or people, whatever, chairman ever elected, and he's filling that role right now. So he is vice president of our organization, and he's also the Denver County GOP chairperson. So that's a big deal, actually. Okay, I'm just going to actually do a couple of things here. Is Lady Maga? Where is she? She's changing. Okay, so. Okay, all right. Okay, so in just a few short moments after costume change, Lady Maga's going to come out and do her thing, and I'm also going to do a couple of announcements. Again, how many people have been familiar with Lockham Republicans and what we are and what we do prior to coming to this event today? It's pretty much everybody? Okay. A lot of people, when you say Lockham Republicans, they don't understand what we are. Let me just go kind of a brief rundown of what that is, okay? So Lockham Republicans started in the late 70s in California, and it's the only nationally recognized gay, lesbian Republican organization. We're recognized by the Republican National Committee in D.C., and we're recognized in every state by the respective state party organizations where we have chapters, okay? Now, we are the only chapter in Colorado. We are a statewide chapter, so we cover a lot of ground. Unfortunately, we're kind of Denver-centric because most of our membership is here, but we are open to anybody in the state and anybody in the region. Also, a couple other things real quickly. We typically meet twice a month. If you haven't been to a meeting already or if you want to get involved, we meet the first Saturday of every month. We have a social hour, and that is typically at a bar or restaurant. It used to be at the same place for a long time, but it's not. Now we're kind of moving things around. This month we're going to be at Legends Sports Bar in Aurora this Saturday, September 4th at 4:30. So the first Saturday of every month, we typically have a social. We usually have it at a bar or restaurant somewhere in the Denver area, and we also around the state as well. We have our regular business meeting the third Tuesday of every month, and we've been doing that for years and years and years. I'm actually the longest serving officer of this organization. I've been treasurer, secretary, and/or vice president for the last 11 years. So So I'm kind of, I've been around through a couple of different regime changes, the one. So, and I'm sort of I've just been providing a little bit of continuity for the group in that respect.
You fucking swamp creature!
Yeah, I know. I'm part of the swamp. I'm part of the swamp that is the Log Cabin organization in Colorado. Okay. So, Val, anything else? Okay. All right. So, without it, Lady Monga, are you ready to? You are Vice President Garrett. Again, the one that's like Kamala. We don't know where he is. And he doesn't do a whole lot. But we're gonna let him say a few words. Then we're gonna let Valdemar say a few words, and then we're gonna bring on our main event, which is Lady Monga. Okay. So again, thank you all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. I really do.
I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening tonight at our Log Cabin Summer Barbecue. For those of you who don't know me, I am Garrett Flicker. I am the Log Cabin Vice President, and I am serving my second term in that, and I am also the Denver Republican Party Chairman. Now, I do hold the title for youngest chairman ever elected, and first openly gay chair in the state of Colorado ever elected, so that's pretty exciting news. Now, I'll keep it very, very brief here. For those of you who live in the Denver area or metro area around, please get involved with the Log Cabin, and please get involved with your local party. If you're a member, if you're around the Denver area, please get involved with the Denver Republican Party. We're doing a lot of great things out there. In fact, this year I sponsored 2 initiatives. One regarding the homelessness issue and cleaning up that problem, and the other one being a sales tax cap. And the great news is, after months of blood, sweat, and tears, both of those initiatives garnered over 25,000 signatures, and they are both on the ballot this November. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the barbecue, have a wonderful time. If you have any questions for me or my colleagues, we'll be around. Please find me after. And with that being said, I'll give it over to Valdemar to introduce you all to our wonderful Lady Maga.
Thank you, Garrett. And also, I do have to give a special thanks to Ken, because I did kind of throw this big thing, and I was like, all right, make it happen, Ken. He has been running around like a crazy person, getting stuff prepared for this event today. So big thanks to Ken. For taking on this project that I just threw upon him. This is what we're going to do. You're going to do it.
Round of applause for this.
Yeah, round of applause. All right, I'm going to try not to talk too much. One thing I've learned since I've become the Log Cabin Republican president here in Colorado is you give a politician a microphone and they never shut up. And I have to admit I'm no better, so I will hurry up. I just wanted to talk about why we're here really quick. At the beginning of August, we sent out our newsletter, and it had this event on there, and it also had the event happening in Grand Junction. And that night, I got a response back to my personal email and one to our account email. They both basically said the same thing. They were full of foul language. This person was angry, and they're like, how come you're spending your time doing parties and events when we should be out on the street fighting for our rights? We should be looking into election security. We should be talking about the political prisoners in Washington from January 6th. And then there was some more flavored language. And so I thought about it for a while, and I responded. I wasn't going to respond initially, and I said, I like your passion. You need to come work with us. Like, we need you in our group, because we need to fight. We need to fight, and that is true. So there were valid points, I feel, as to what are we going to do. And so why do we do this? Why instead of having a barbecue, do not say, like, let's go down to the Capitol and protest, or let's go do this, or let's go knock on doors like they're doing in Mesa County to find out about election security and see what's going on? Well, Mr. Greg Veeder over here, I'm going to steal a line that he has told me many times.
Stand up.
Mr. Greg Veeder. The American Revolution did not start in the battlefields, it started in the pubs.
Who's drinking?
Yeah, so,
We are.
and, gays are over. A lot of us are in the pubs sometimes. That's a stereotype, though. It's not always true. And we get together and things like this. We meet other patriots. We meet other people who think like us. We exchange ideas. We find out about other groups in the state. We find out about other things going on. And we network and we build. And that's very, very important. As we get together in groups like this, maybe you're going to meet people tonight you did not meet before. Maybe you're going to meet and find out about organizations you did not know about before. We create lists. That we get scared of. Don't create lists. I shouldn't say create lists. Forget I said that. I did not. Could you erase that from your... We do not create lists. Last year, there was a lot... Who was out on the street at some point last year waving the Trump flag or American flag? There were flag waves all over. I got involved in the Highlands Ranch flag wave group, and then I found out there was a Parker group, there was a Castle Rock group, there was an Arvada group. And I remember the Arvada group, they had like 5 people typically. And then one day, all the other groups found out about them, they spread the word, and the next weekend there were 100 people in Arvada on both sides of the streets, waving flags, and they were like, this is amazing. And it's because we built a connection. That connection's more what I was trying to say. We're building connections, not lists. We're building connections and doing this. And so this is extremely important because if we do want to fight those fights, it starts in places like this. It starts with us building community. Because we really need community, and we really need to build these networks, and that's how we're going to do it. So we need numbers. If we don't have the numbers to back up the people, and then if you don't know about what's happening in Mesa County, definitely look into it. You can ask. There's some websites I can give you where they're really doing some good work in Mesa County. And speaking of that, I'm also going to talk about how it goes beyond the political. Because yes, there's that political aspect. We politically are fighting, and the little Republicans and whatever. But it goes beyond that. We held our first event in Grand Junction earlier this month, and so I went out there, and the Mesa County GOP, if I haven't said it before, I've probably said it 1,000 times, is amazing. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been able to put this event on. They found a place for us. They invited people. There were candidates that they invited who were there. There were elected officials there.
Talking about the event there, not this event.
Yes, I'm talking about the event in Grand Junction. Yeah. So it was a great event, and as in the week leading up to it, the vice chair of the Mesa County GOP reached out to me and told me it was a few people, but there were like 3 people, I'll guess about that many, who had contacted them that week and said, you should not associate yourself with the Log Cabin Republicans because we do not need gay people in our party. I agree. And so she called me and she was visibly upset. And I was like, all right. I'm going to tell you a little side story here, and I like this side story because it starts with, I was talking to Richard Grinnell one day. Yeah, I was talking to Richard Grinnell one day, and he mentioned, that is all we were doing. He's a married man.
In Palm Springs.
In Palm Springs, at his house. Yeah, the whole. But he had mentioned that Donald Trump told him once that he thought gay conservatives have the least give a damn of all people. Because we've been through the ringer twice. And it's true. I have family who don't talk to me anymore because I'm gay. And I have gay friends who won't talk to me anymore because I'm a Republican. So when she told me that, my initial response is like, I don't care. She was upset. She was upset. So I was like, all right, you know what? We'll bring it up. At the end of the program, I'll ask questions, and if someone wants to ask, we'll talk about that. But I will talk about it. If no one asks, I'll bring it up. No one asked, because everyone there was amazing, awesome, wonderful, and it was an amazing event. So no one asked, so I brought it up. And typically at events and that, I'm very more kind of casual, laid back, not serious. But it got a little, we had a good conversation about why gay people should be allowed in the Republican Party, and also talking about the difference in, we as Log Cabin Republicans completely respect the opinions of Christians. You probably saw recently we bought a cake from Jack Phillips, the guy who... And he knew who I was. I told him who I was. I'm the president of the Log Cabin Republicans of Colorado, and we're a gay group. He didn't care. We talked about his thoughts, my thoughts. I don't agree with his view on marriage, but you know what? I support his freedom to not have to make a cake if he doesn't want to. So I asked him, like, will you make us a cake with our logo on it? And he said yes, because he's fine with that. He also doesn't make Halloween cakes, and but that's another story. Yeah, I'm not going to go off on any more tangents, because we're passionate about fighting for Jack's freedom to not have to do something he doesn't want to. Because once you start forcing him to do something, I'm a photographer. What if the Westboro Baptist Church came up to me and said, I want you to take pictures for me for our God Hates. Thanks. I was going to say, but I'm looking at two children. I can't say that, right? But yeah, so we fight for freedom. That's what it's about. But anyway, the point of this giant long story is it goes beyond politics, because after this event in Grand Junction, there was a lesbian couple who went up to the vice chair of the Mesa County GOP, and they told her, we always wanted to be involved with the Republican Party, and we wanted to be involved in things happening, but we didn't know if we would be welcome. Sorry, I'm about to get emotional. Let me... No, it's all right, I'm gay, I can cry. And so, it was like, now they know they have a place in the party, and they know they have a county GOP that supports them. And so yeah, so it was great. And also there was a couple whose son recently came out, and he's a conservative young man, about 18 years old or something. He wasn't there because he was with family in California or something, but they're like, we came here because we just wanted to know, we accept him, we love him, but we want to know that our community is also going to love him and accept him. And so, again, I give props to the Mesa County GOP, because they really showed these individuals that you are welcome here. And we need to build these bridges, because it's about bigger than just my personal freedom. If I'm only fighting for myself, I'm going to fight for my freedom. I am. I've been a Republican for 1 year now. that is an interesting story, but that's another. I think that's another story. Briefly, yeah. I used to be. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. Went through all that. Then I came out. Got thrown out of the church. Yeah. I got involved in the Pride Center in Colorado Springs. I was a social justice warrior on the streets, leftist, liberal. I had no idea what I was doing. At that point in my life, I didn't even know what a liberal or a conservative were. I had no idea. I just did what the community around me told me. Oh, they're bad. They're good. All right, so I went along. Finally started looking at stuff, and now I'm here. So, it's good that we build these bridges, because I was talking to someone earlier today talking about how I just finished reading Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. And I think that every leader of a Republican or conservative group needs to read that book and do what it says. I know that seems like a crazy thing to say, but one of the quotes he has in there is the biggest enemy, or I'm probably going to misquote him a little bit, but the biggest enemy to individual freedom is the individual themselves. And what happens is we get in our little groups, and I'm gay, I'm not working with the evangelicals, or I'm this, I'm not working with them, I'm this, I'm not working with them. We become fractioned, and we lose the power of proxy, the power of numbers. We all want the same thing. We all want freedom, we all want to live. And I always make a joke that when I speak in front of Democrats, I'm like, my name is Valdemar, and I am a Native American Latino gay man. When I speak in front of Republicans, I say, hello, my name is Valdemar, I'm an American. We're all the same. We have more in common than we have different. So that's kind of my point, is that this is important. It's not just a barbecue. It's not just being social. It's not just a party. There's a bigger reason why we're here, both politically and social, but on a humanitarian level too. So thank you all for being here. We'll get to our main part, but I do also want to give a moment to our two candidates that would like to come up.